Hello everyone, my name is Chaudhry Hamza Rosali Gujar. I welcome our participants to this profession development program. This profession development program session focus on the assessment process and the teaching learning circles within ELFE V 2.0, which helps make efficient decisions. These sessions aim to build joint experience by helping teachers making proposals informative decisions with learning possibilities for each children. Our training session will evaluate the functional matters along assessments review to determine better planning approach than serve all learning under national requirements. So, understanding of the VYLEF V 2.0. So here we can see the purpose of the frameworks, updates, and the core elements. So the functions at the national guidelines for the dribbling early childhood education and care throughout Australia. The guidelines have teachers support the child in their play based in investigation so they develop their identity alongside confident along with the life competent. The new versions of the approach uphold its original intent and stands to indicate alongside Aboriginals and Torres Strait Islanders education and the digital skills development. The frameworks include the three connected components that considers of principle including high expectations and equalities, but also practice including teaching and culture responding along with the learning outcome with the specific what child should understand uh, and get that. Are these elements from the basics to develop learning environments which connecting specific teaching methods to individual education interests along with the development capacities, providing foundational guidance for planning because it's create unspecific process and high quality self-driven and self-assessment opportunities across educational environment. Affections, circumstance, decision making. What is it? Key points. Interaction, inform, flexibility. What is matter? That is the point. The teacher, their profession, experts to develop and supervise educational program that systematically assessments of the child and learning community requirements. This process avoids being either linear or fixed. These four practices direct or practice towards improvement outcome which efficiency response to children varies developments and need to involve decision. The decision-making process utilize and analyze a combinations of theories and practice lenses. These social culture theories teachers and child as an active participation that combines with the observations to show how child engage in the real-time activities. That is the point. Real-time activities. Learning outcome gains support through decisions that address child interactions along with the background characteristics, learning and difficulties. The way we adopt activities for the child who need additional support or incorporation culture stories in the storytelling sessions enable to create variable learning experience decision of the high quality advance all of the area child development including identify expressions and the well-being and the community participations. The fourth slide. Okay, the fourth slide. Approach of assessments in the early childhood. Formational assessments, summarizal assessment, diagonal assessment. That is the three main approach of the assessments. So the early childhood education assessment method consider primarily of for mental assessment, summarizal assessment with a diagnosis assessment fitting within the these frameworks. Activities make it applicant to current learning teaching approach. Assessment occurs through our work that involves child and their playtimes and recording their educational experiences. The real-time teaching adapts combination with the personals and learning pathway development in the making possible through the formation assessments practices. Summarizing assessment provide the indications of the child's current learning status practical to end of the term and our missions assessment documents. The assessment provides information for the sharing with the parents and the educational colleagues about the educations and the student developments. The purpose of diagnosis assessment is to get deep understanding how the individual children learning especially with the behavior or the development concerns are present. The practice of the assessment dominates early childhood settings even through all three methods, converting a unique information which help out in different way. This approach stands educational planning through represent development and showing learning process in the real time before it's occurred in different time. So the assessment in the EVLFV 2.0 content align with the principles, practices, and the methods. Assessment practice prioritize understanding how the children learning and development rather than providing ranking or the grades. That is the main point. High expectations together with the equal recognitions or divisions means center to assessment while meaningful child interactions, learning, community with the work alongside these core concepts. Assessment practices combine visible documentations methods, which including learning story, platformio alongside work samples with the efficiency assessment, which guides environmental interaction modifications. Digital assessment tools such as photo documentations, drawing, video recording highly help educator understanding their purpose process along with the emotional response and learning outcome. That assessment method enable education staff to verify whether our problems or solutions meet with the criteria for the being strength based while also be tailor specific to need of the each child. Observation assessment allows us to track patterns which indicate successful approach and subpar ones so we can modify our teaching methodology. Such information established as a direct pathway to guide the educational choice of educator make. Teaching learning style. So there are the four important points of the teaching learning style. Observes, evaluate, impact, and plan. That is the four big elements we're going to discuss about this one. There are four stages called the teaching learning skills that indicate our first stop involve observing child through watching their play activities along with assessment their interest and the way. That is the main point. Our observation lead to the planning learning activity that let children develop their ideas through advanced concept and tasks. The exclusions of our design activities have been here, but our class participation remains responded to children reactions to plan learning experience. We examine all of the actions that transparent. Did the children show interest or not? That is the main point. Did they develop new skills? They adopt new skills? That is the main point. The upcoming attempts need to adaptation with the features of what? The assessment information feed in the guidance alphas of the circles. The observations of the children who show interest in the numbers during the play roles with the triggers of the planning counting games. We analyze children involvement levels through the activities together with the gain knowledge before developing future actions plan. The approach maintains our education process, but the education process, both lively and children, focus and continue division by the child development methods. That is the point. So, next slide, the assessment, how the assessment informed teaching practices, planning with a purpose, practice examples, reflection teaching. So that is the in the middle of the theme. The teaching learning circles learn naturally along with the assessment across each developing states. Assessment guides every aspect of the educational practice from the observations through the planning infrastructures and the evaluations of the children. The integrations of the documentation and daily class interaction make up assessment rather than creating independent activities. Child session with the sharing during the play groups allow us to design cooperation game with the teaching turn taking skills. We evaluate if the experience product positive result before deciding our next step following the evaluations. Ref- Reflections guided by this date ensure that we continue to grow as educators and meet the individual's need of each children. We need to follow that. In this way, assessment become a circle, continuous improvement. We need to improve our point of the learning and how we getting the results. So the sport of the each children growth. So there is like five major points we need to discuss that help out supporting each child growth. Planning. Planning for the identified development should impress education traditional through the family stories and music language to validate each child heritage. The practice stands their personal identity and the group affiliations. We can get the point. Educational strategies which pair children in the different population and design bodies help establishment communities based on the independency and mutual connections. Understanding child emotional signals while creating mindful sporting space enable them to develop safety and self-regulation. A positive learning environment emerges with student track activities that mediate between the capacity and achievement by the establishment, room for the risking, taking behaviors through interactions, evidence-based chosen all child achievement richer learning outcome with equal educational opportunities. So, the key message and the reflections. Assessment is continuous and purposeful. The teacher learning skills and the cycle ensures the positive response, informative planning, guidance, and the STEM practices, educators sharpening learning through the efficiency decisions. So that was the main topic of that our discussions, and here with the four main takeaways points. Outgoing assessment serve as a purpose through the child education experience assessment create how the children learn as their knowledge development. The teacher learning skills to make more practices while reflection of the actual observations and the practices. So the EYLF allows us to construct decisions based on the natural visions through promoting diversity and child-led learning. The educator roles also play an important role about the developing and creating the guidance learning pathway for the students. Together with all other reflections educators, we will stand our commitment to everything, achieve quality learning outcome for the every child. So thank you. This is all from my side. So I'm going to end it my presentation here. If you have any kind of the question, you can freely ask me. Thank you.